Get the initial hatch open here, but they don't want to deal with Clash just yet. Doki's going to find himself an easy frag on a JV92 as some of his bullets go wide. G2 have done a good job of moving things back and forth across this mid floor and keeping W7M guessing, but finally KZ will step up and he's going to take down Alamau as they simply think that W7M are going to wait over inside of blue stairs, but surely not. They go for the flank and it's working out masterfully for them. Doki will finally fire back, but what's it worth at this point? 2 versus 3 and a lot more to do.
Doki with an A getting primed here. Herd's going to expect it, gets a few shots back at it. Thankfully, banks off of one of the vaults there and is going to be able to save himself from that, but can't save himself from the outright push. Doki makes it work. Virtue tries to make a move as well, but the angles don't align and it's the Clash on the other side of it. Anyway, even worse now, Doki has finally been dropped on that crossfire from Elevator back in the gold. So with that said, Virtue though, actually not going out. If he can chase down and get the Clash here, might still be able to close it down, but time is running out. He's not going to be able to get it done. I don't think the Clash is too pervasive here. And with that, the defenders win it on the timer.
Cadella's in hand, but Alamau misses. Good news though, he's got glasses, so it won't affect him, just his teammates. Frag grenade out there as another Candela will go in. This is looking like a fantastic G2 execution as the KD and most importantly the kill feed goes all orange. Volps will go down as well as up to JV to try and clutch this out, but all of a sudden W7M with a chance here. Blurred down, Virtue the last one remaining, and it only takes a single shot out of that cannon. Some Candela's in, but no fast acting play coming out of G2, but no, actually I'm mistaken. Doki back into very similar position to what we saw him prior. We've basically gotten the same round minus the picks here from W7M that have been coming pretty hot and heavy so far. Doki will finally be able to fire back up against KZ. He's going to try and transition this back into CEO. A big smoke play there. Doki's going to go down and he'll be dusted by said smoke. Close this map out as quickly as they can, try and get onto these other maps, see if they can get something done. Apply the pressure to W7M, and that's exactly what Virtue does. They'll take down Julio. It's up to Volps now. Try and clutch this out. He's been droned though. You know he's inside of the quad window, so he'll work his way out towards Banana. The plant's gonna start going down for Blur. Volps has to try and challenge the window, but the bullets, they're gonna hit more towards the ankle side instead of the head.
Virtue with an angle, but doesn't realize there's a challenger waiting on the other end of it, and KZ! Doki's hand is pushed directly into KZ's lair, and unfortunately...
And Doki's a small guy with a heavy hand, constantly smoking everybody. This time around, though, it'll be Herds with the pack smoke as he'll take down Alamau, equalizing this man count, making things a little bit more palatable. Unless Blur has something to say about it, looks like we're going to continue this carousel.
I believe he's found a safe pocket for himself. He's going to use it to go for the plant. No Nitro is on the defense. No way to stop this beyond a direct push. He'll get away with it. The plant goes down. And on top of that, though, the planter will also, or one of the defenders rather, will also be eliminated, leaving it all on Julio here, trying to run a flank. But it'll be read and taken down by Benja.
W7M keeping it close to the chest, keeping people alive. Not only that, dealing as good as they're getting with the man count. Volps is going to fire back as well. He's going to take down Virtue. A big Nitro cell from KZ. Goggles on now, and no real way for G2 to try and work in unbeknownst to the defense. It's going to be up to Doki, and he's quickly dispatched. W7M get their second defensive win.
Julia will start to swing up towards top blue as well and begin the distraction here. And it will be quite distracting when you consider that we have 3 different players trying to work their way in from above server at the moment in square. One of them has just been dealt with. KZ will work his way over after claiming that kill to support Julio's position a little bit more. The flash blinding him out entirely. He cannot find the coverage of the shield. Ends up going down, but another member of G2 also getting down in the process. They'll be brought back up, however. We're now going to be moving forward. JV92 with one more trade into the favor of W7M once again to keep the numbers even at a minimum, but now G2 going for the plant. There is a Nitro sitting on Herds. Is he going to be in position enough to be able to stop this now? That is the big question. Where is it? Nowhere to be found, unfortunately. He is still rotating back over from the garage side of things.
Look at the positioning from G2. How do you fight these angles? The answer, you don't. Everyone is inside of a barrel at the current moment. It's down to Herds. He can't even get an angle to try and fight back, and he will get slaughtered like a lamb. G2 Esports. W7M doesn't have a lot of drone work done here, or the real ability to try and capitalize on that. Volts instead is just going to send it right in. He's going to get a heck of a lot of kills for doing so. Actually, they didn't know about Alamau's positions and the ones off site, but sending it into sight, you'll usually find yourself some bodies, and it seemed that the proper angle was accounted for from W7M. So they're going to take out quite a few members. Alamau's going to deal with the top position already, so he'll take down KZ. A big player requires big plays, and this would be one for him.
Consider the fact that he's playing with virtually zero intel, checking every single potential angle where someone could be playing at, but misses that one from Herds, who will finally shut him down. Oftentimes it won't be noticed, so it seems to be a pretty good operator, but that's a pretty good jump from Doki. Knocks the head off of KZ, puts G2 on the right foot forward right from the beginning of the round. Unfortunately, cannot go 2 for 1, which would have been the ultimate W for him in this round. They're down a very important one with regards to their utility, specifically regarding intel, and potentially some of their hard breach too. Nice catch by Herds, but Alamau is going to get the credit for it, interestingly enough. And Alamau also takes down Herds, so just a little bit of an awkward scramble there between the teams.
With this position from JV92, this could be the round right here. If they are not aware, this is all going to be onto the game sense of the G2 players. There's no way that they know this is going on. Blur will go down, but Benja gets one, and that's why you pick up a player like Benjamaster. Oh my God!
This could be a big boom directly into the site for them here, especially when you consider Volps' operator choice coming in from below and immediately trying to go for a plant. Has to cancel it as Herds has found some resistance deeper into it, but just look at how smooth it is from W7M. 3 kills, no responses from G2 as of yet, and still the case as it's down to only Benjameister in the 1v5 clutch. It's a flawless round in under a minute from W7M. On W7M's side of things, he has been able to make it up to the spiral staircase without being noticed so far here. Has a good opportunity to potentially sneak up on Banana, but there is Overwatch for it. Virtue catches the play, knocks out KZ, and leaves only Julio and Volps alive. I believe both being played over by Square as well. Never mind, one is trying to work their way in from the basement. Julio, though, is so close to his end already here. Just been peppered down, shot after shot. Benja to finally finish things off as well. Takes him out, and Alamau to seal the deal with the flawless to end the round. Keep the presence alive for G2 here as they try to close down the map on this very round. Nitro going up. This one could sing as well, but it's too telegraphed. W7M read into it and thankfully back away from it as well. Doki still able to strike true as he knocks out another member of the W7M roster. This time, JV92. The Heartbreak's probably not going to be this too heavily since we're so deep into the round. Volps claims the first attacker-sided kill, but Doki still holding the line. That's until KZ gets a hold of him, however, but it won't matter as still far too many G2 kills happening back-to-back. And as a result of that, they'll be able to claim map number 1.
For mining as of right now, gonna attempt to spam into bunker, but not going to find too much. That's on to Doki and the rest of the gang, as they're going to dispatch W7M in a pretty convincing fashion. Volps now trying to get it back in blood, and he will. Blur will end up picking up Julio, but Volps, my God, man, slow down.
He's actually gonna move both of them now to get them into a better position for when G2 feels the confidence to move forward. That does leave a little bit of a risky situation, the fact that he could have been droned out, but nicely done. Plays it off the audio cue from upstairs, catches Virtue lurking into his corner. Echo drones giving out the hard pings, constantly feeding Blur's location over to Volp, so he is not panicking in any sense right now. That all is instead happening over on Blur's side of things. Look at this as well. Nicely played by Volp. Just backs away from the scenario. Just gonna play this on the timer unless he knows he has a winning angle. There we go. An ace as well from Volps to shut it down as he single-handedly saves this round.
G2, the team play working for them, but it's taken them some time to set this up. W7M, they're slowly working their way back into this round. All it takes is one proper kill and the entire thing explodes. Julio gets one, Volps gets the other. The plant has to be stuck by Alamau, and he's more than likely dead. He'll just get off of it.
They realize that W7M probably doesn't have a whole lot built up down here. Maybe a player or two watching Whiskey Scares or something like that, so they'll keep watching for that. But here we go with Benja. Just like we were talking about a moment ago, he's leading the charge. Unfortunately, there's a motion detector sitting on Whiskey, and it gives him away. JV92.
And that nice ace inside of round 1. This might be the play here. Oh, almost had him with the Nitro Cell. KZ tries it out on the castle barricade, but doesn't find too much. Nitro Cells and frags abound, and it's going to be the frags that win it out.
To make their own ascent here as we reach the final minute of play. The nade goes in. JV92 too deep, too close to the door, however, so won't be affected by it. Another kill is found by another member of G2 as Alamau trades one out and keeps the numbers even.
Alamau, the downward position, has some semblance of control over the site. This will allow them to find some area to plant, but after Virtue's gone down, they're going to need some serious cover, and the case is actually well within the right of W7M to take, and they will.
Especially when they fall behind with the deficit here, and now they're just going to force the hand. Blur going directly into Freezer with the skeleton key, takes on a fight versus Julio, gets some intel about a player to his left, and then clips the head off as well. Beautifully done, but the Frostmatch strike again, ladies and gentlemen, as G2 still, though, are going to be unscathed by it as they move forward, even bringing that player back from the depths as well. All down to Herds now. He's traded out for one, but he still has 3 more players to knock out and the plant to prevent, which unfortunately won't be able to do. Alamau successfully gets it down onto the ground just as Herds approaches the main kitchen doorway. But he's got to bring it out now, otherwise G2 finally will get themselves around on the board, and indeed they shall at the hands of Alamau, claiming the final kill.
Herds will take quite a bit of damage on the other end of things, though, as well as Virtue. Looks like a potential player going pretty high flying there for just a moment, but able to work it out. Herds,
I actually think he might have gotten away with that one, at least in the form of the fact that no one's going to immediately chase him down, but you can't do the same for Virtue, who tries to go for the skylight hop. It's beaten out by JV92 here. Volps into the hallway finds Benja, more than likely playing off of that sound cue from earlier on in the round. All he can really do at this point as bait for some stat pads, and unfortunately won't even be able to get that one. It's a flawless round from W7M as they quickly retake control of the scenario here at 4-1. Members of G2 ready to move in, however, it is not going. Alamau ends up taking himself down with his own pre-cooked frag grenade as he swings in. Such an unfortunate chain of events that it pretty much is the beginning of the end for this round here. Virtue, now we'll have to see a massive rebound here. Basically a perfect scoreline for W7M. There we go, Virtue finally gonna get picked off here as W7M is able to lock him down. At the same time, the Keep a Barricade is gonna be quickly dealt with. Doki's in a bit of an awkward position here now, having proned under.
This might be the hardest part of the entire map to flank because there's no real way to get in behind them. You just have to take the gunfight. You're taking a gunfight via the kitchen wall or the hallway, but either way, it is working out for G2 when it comes to the competition. Finally, an equalizer will come through for Herds. W7M pulling ahead. Oh, with that patient play. Benja will also get one back onto his shoulders, though, as well. A little pre-fire here. Alamau has one impact grenade. One hope, one shot, one chance to try and stop this plant from going down. They have the cross dedicated. What happens to this player in Freezer? What say he in his defense? Volps will go down in a flick! Benja does it again! Oh my!
Ready to potentially fend off some of this repel pressure working itself into Cigar. He'll sit back here, currently alone as well, so this is a very precarious situation, but correct myself, Alamau somewhat nearby. Oh, that's a big peak right there, but Alamau making things work regardless. He lines up a second repelled kill now against JV92. Virtue also getting into this. The case along with them has now gone down to the ground there by New Hatch. Worst case scenario for W7M has been deployed. Alamau even picking one up with the M590 here. Volps is all that remains. He gets one pad kill.
See if they can potentially get a push here. Finally, it'll be Benja to seal the deal.
This time, though, it's a bit more well-formulated. Volps and Julio able to deal with the upstairs presence. G2 never peeling that back. Virtue stealing one back on the exchange, though, as he finally gets the finisher off onto Herds. Volps will get hit from some utility, and Blur gets away with one, but he can't escape fully. The trade comes in. Everything falls to Virtue, but time now plays into his favor. The scope, though, is not going to play into his favor at all inside of that angle. Things not panning out, though, as they attempt to go for a bit of a play inside of Christmas. Will not work out. Blur ends up getting hit slightly, but now you're going to see the nades bounce back onto Volps. Downs him entirely. Not out for the count yet, but Herds is as he tries to go for another nade toss. And wow, G2 just snapped the jaw shut right there as well as soon as the nade kill comes through and make sure that W7M have zero chance.
The wrap now coming from W7M, trying to apply some pressure on the white stairs. And they're actually going to end up working this one out. KZ will go down. Nice nitro cell will take out another, and it's also going to kill Blur. Virtue, anybody on G2 just really willing to put their teammates down as martyrs and just try and win out the round via that.
W7M as well. So they are quickly running out of both room and timing to make this one work. Alamau begins the crunch. Julio tries to open it back up a little bit here with the push into Library. Second angle going to work its way into this, but it's not enough. G2 still shutting it down. W7M decided to commit a good half their utility to it. Now the hop has come forward from Volps, however. He'll take the leap on his own. Trying to go for a plant behind it as well. KZ so far supporting it well, but Benja trades out that repelled position. Volps, though, still able to successfully sneak off the plant, and now back out the window where we're going to see these repelled positions supported. Alamau is the only one left from G2, and W7M are sending us to a map 3.
What a round there from W7M. Volps is now trying to transition his way through Arcade and take out the player playing on the stairwell. That'll be a fairly straightforward affair. He'll take down Virtue. Benja now holding things down inside. A nice cross for him to get into a more pivotal position. Don't believe they know about Alamau's position up top, but he's going to have to get away with a decent amount here. It can't just be one kill. It has to be a whole slew of them. And he might miss position. He does indeed. Hertz hears him. He'll take down Alamau. And they know where Benja is now as he'll take out one of their friends outside. It's going to be the Goyo canister that deals a decent amount of damage to Hertz, but through the fire and flames is JV92.
For their bad intel caller, just an overzealous push leads to the elimination of most of the hard breach utility the attackers had access to, but Keys thankfully going to make up for this at least in some dividends now by pushing himself directly into the and taking it.
KZ quickly dispatching 2, and now the rest of W7M hot to trot. 3 kills for him, all on the 417. The biggest play from the DMR that we've seen this entire LAN is now down to Virtue. The man that got the opening kill, he'll get the second for G2, but he'll be the last to die. So far, it's changing up how they want to try and go about this, and well, it seems like they just want to go about it quickly. I don't even know if Volps knew that he had the shotgun as a primary there. Benja apparently didn't know that anything was broken either. Volps is going to gun him down. It's going to be a quick trade, but is any W7M member even relatively close to try and build anything off of this? No. Some solid positioning here from W7M as they're able to use Buck to his fullest advantage. That Skeleton Key working its way up through the floor and forcing a move from G2. Alamau looks to try and abuse some of those angles that had just opened up, but he just got too overzealous. Hertz playing the counter angle not only gets him, but as well as Virtue here from security. JV92 will make the situation even worse, and now it's all down to Doki. Has the MX4 Storm, but he doesn't have air to breathe. Benja starting to take some considerable damage here as well on the Arcade balcony. Herds in, he's dusted. Equalizers here for G2 Esports as they'll pull ahead, actually.
Volps potentially next up to bat here as he's reached Arcade balcony. Tries to push himself forward. Doki, the nice swing out, catches one, but once more, Julio equalizes us for a second time here with his pick. Doki continuing to snipe out everyone on W7M, and then Virtue finally coming in there to pick up the last one as well.
Virtue, oh my, has he actually made the play here? He has indeed. Pre-fire's coming through. He's got the angle on the Osa, and he's got the stoppage, but there's so much time for W7M to try and work out this puzzle.
W7M is eventually going to push in from this one, but the other trying to work the connector angle here. They're going to try to play it together. Those Legion mines, though, tripping them up. No time to peel them out. Blur more than ready for the challenge. Him and Virtue for the rest of his teammates to also rotate into this one. Julio holding a flank, can't move forward. Doki successfully pierces the veil anyway. Takes down Julio. KZ will be able to trade out for one, but there's still fire back coming in from other members of G2. 30 seconds left here. Let's see how W7M tries to piece this together.
Oh, it's been so difficult for them. W7M cannot find a single lifeline at the current moment. Time and time again, the timing's not working out. It's a moment they look away from an angle. G2 shows up, and they deal the death blow towards W7M.
They have yet to really synchronize any good positions they can use to get into the actual throne room here. Nitro going to be chucked in as well to attempt to fend off the breach attempt being made here, but unfortunately, it lands just a bit too low. G2 still making their mark, though. Alamau starts us off strong, and Doki and Benja follow it through as G2.
I might be wrong about this, but I think they changed the hitbox a little bit where you're a little bit more slippery on it when you stand, so it's just easier to do it via that. But past that, some other things are a pretty slippery slope. Losing your hard breach early on. Oh my God. JV92 hip fired.
The stars really aligning for Alamau, though, to have that single hip fire shot end up being a headshot.
It looked like someone out of Apex. It just like he just pulled up on him and immediately eviscerated him, all with hip fire. And it's gotten G2 down to this point. Alamau still alive. W7M attempting to thrive. They haven't fully sent it towards site just yet, and he'll be able to at least pick up one, but my God, Doki-san, what a shot. We'd love to see a big round from him here inside of this one. Hasn't had something massively considerable just yet, but it could be the time. Has to get a mag back in this gun. Oh, and it's so very close, but Doki will close it out. He thought he was going to be swinging from the right, but it was to the left.
Ends up unclicking it. Here we go. Now he's got the yellow ping for it. No movement either. This should be a winner. And there we go. Herds down for the count as G2 strikes first yet again.
W7M finally able to get something going here. They'll equalize, but it might change up quickly. Yep, Alamau, he knew exactly where that was going to be going due to the logic bomb that came through. The phone calls working out so well, as well as the EE1Ds, but somehow Julio's still allowed to stay alive and still allowed to get these 2 kills. Was not something that I was really considering saying going into the initial portions of this interaction, but somehow W7M have came out on top.
All right, well, we do have a dead member of W7M. 10 seconds into the round
I
here.
just looked down at my notes, man. Come on.
Spawn peek from Herds there on the Oryx, slaps him down to the ground, and immediately G2 has the front-running lead. Doki, like I said, consistent as ever inside of this map specifically.
Well, neither is the play from W7M right now. They're looking a little like that sloppy snow. They're getting taken down from every single angle. Nothing that they can do is finding any success for them, at least inside of this one. Volps will finally fight back.
If he gets another kill, he can probably try to swing towards it, which he's coming up on the precipice of that now. But yeah, Virtue ready for the challenge.
Halfway through, G2 have not been able to find the opening kill. Some damage onto Herds. Doki trying to act quickly, usually so solid at this, but now a beautiful lineup here as Herds will be able to take down Blur. Some nice kills coming in, a drop shot, and Herds. So much damage dealt to him, but they can't get him down. Alamau will be the one to go. Benja finally fighting fire with fire, but how much does it really mean, all things considered?
In the mid-round, beautifully played out. Not really expecting much of a hope for G2 to swing this one back under their own control, but let's wait and see here as Volps takes out the second-to-last member now. Virtue is all that remains. Heat 2 quickly dealt with by JV92 at the connector exit.
That's going to be the Dokkaebi off the board here, and back and forth we go. W7M looking to force this overtime. Now G2, they need to recoup. They need these kills. Virtue will get one. Benja knows that somebody's close in the area, but he doesn't look tight enough. Volt sees the barrel, and he's able to take him down. It's up to Virtue. This 417, it's been so dastardly throughout the tournament, but it won't be good enough. W7M provide overtime for us here.
Set themselves up for a bit more success over here. Away from that, we're going to see them try to swing in, but Julio is waiting for this push to come forward. Alamau with the intel is at least able to trade it, but this is the problem. He was the only one in the site. Everyone else has to suddenly rotate back in. We'll get the plant down onto the ground behind Throne, as there's nothing W7M can do about that one. Blur has the overwatch from Gong now as well, so they can't rotate through yellow. This is perfect from G2 here. I don't know how W7M is going to stop this.
Well, they've gotten the plant down, but it looks like that might at least be a start. Alamau will be able to get one more, making this a 2 versus 2. Volp's pretty low on HP, but the same could be said about Alamau. Definitely going to consider that coming into these fights. KZ will go down. Volp's the last one that remains. Alamau will clean that one up as well. The Brazilian
eliminates the first member of the W7M roster. Everything goes very quiet after that, but a nice snipe from Herds eliminates Alamau as he tries to play behind the bomb chassis. Benja ready for the challenge in through arcade window and now takes up the very mantle of that position. Herds, though, single-handedly bringing his team back from the brink as he knocks out Doki in one more.
So many guns still have to try and take advantage of these angles.
It's an ace.
An ace for Herds. Down into the last minute. This is usually when things get very, very wrong. And yes, indeed, it'll happen. G2 walk into a frost mat and lose their best entry. Everybody else is going to have to try and get something going here. It all starts with Virtue as he's working his way in from Kafe. Herds will dispatch him. Goes swinging. He'll find himself a Blur. Benja's gotten picked back up by Alamau. They're coming up the arcade stairwell. Back and forth they go. But Benja's going to quickly get gunned down. Alamau can't get it done either. And W7M get it done up against G2 here in this best of 3.